105. Welcome to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, Zach the producer, and the new intern. We're going to call him B. Young B is helping out here, learning the ropes. We welcome into the show as well. Fresh from Nate Gager, where I went as well.
It's Zach. Brendan, right?
Brendan, not Brandon.
No.
Brendan.
I was. Oh shoot! Sorry, that's me. That's not you. I was thinking, the best way for me to remember names is think of someone like famous.
Brendan.
But it was Brandon from 90210.
Yeah.
So I don't know any Brendans.
Well, Brendan, quickly here, first day, you've met the bosses, you've hung out a bit. First few hours, how you liking it?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
It's been smooth. Little transition from Nate for sure, but
yeah, of course.
All in due time, we should have this ship rolling.
All right.
So what's it? Are you looking to be a host? Are you looking to be a producer? Are you looking to do socials? Like what's? And I know it might change. Like you go into Nate with one idea, and then you see all the different areas you can get into. What's kind of the main goal right now?
I think I went into Nate wanting to be a host. I think that's still the goal one day. Obviously, there's a couple steps and a couple milestones I got to hit first.
Yes.
I think, yeah, if I could be you guys one day, that'd be making it.
Well, you could. Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Thought I was unattainable, but you could follow in this guy's footsteps for sure.
Well, welcome, buddy. I know you're gonna be learning a lot from Zach and Trev here on a bunch of different shows. So anything you need, you let Joaquin and I know, and
we'll get someone that can do it for you.
Who's your NFL team?
I unfortunately like the Texans.
Oh, well, why unfortunately? That's
because they're going to get bounced as soon as they step foot in the playoffs.
Come on. No, I don't know about that.
But playoffs are good.
But welcome, B. It's
Thank you.
Great to have you. And the next 3 months, maybe one day you'll be sitting here in a couple of months and guest hosting. Maybe you never know. I don't want to get ahead of our bosses who are starting the Tecmo game right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you played any games yet, or have you?
I scrolled through.
Oh, did it?
Haven't hit start yet.
Anyways, EST Afternoons, we welcome Brendan to the EST crew. He'll be with us for the next 3.5 months, and who knows, maybe longer. But great stuff, Brendan. Good to have you on board. And go Texans. Fun show today, Gager. Oilers dominant. Was that their best game of the year? We're going to ask Joaquin here. But at 120, highlights, lowlights. 140, Hernan's World, presented by the Garrison Curling Club. And at 220, yesterday we talked Ravens. Today we're going to talk Steelers with Mike DeFabo. He's a Steelers beat writer for The Athletic. And, of course, hit us up on the Nasty Chat. Text us 780-218-9999. That will come into the River Cree inbox. The afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino. Canadian musician Alan Doyle and comedian Ben Bankas coming to the River Cree in January. For details on tickets, visit www.rivercreeresort.com. Gager, man, everybody's watching that. I'm jealous right now that we have to work.
Maddie even said yesterday how we'll change that TV to get the signal from the video game so we can comment on how the game's going.
Yeah.
That's good. Tommy G, obviously.
He's not sticking around.
No, he never sticks around. Only if he has to. Right, buddy?
Yeah. See you tomorrow, Tommy.
Are you going to go get activated, Tommy? Yes. Oh, he's activating. I like an activated Gazzola.
Live from the William Huff Studios. We are here in the west end of the city. If you want to listen to us, it's the iHeart or TuneIn radio apps or EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Speaking of activations, you got me into going in the morning. I'll say this because tomorrow's my day off. I'm a little tired today, Gager, from my activation this morning.
Day off?
Yeah, I don't work out every day.
Oh.
I go 3 days straight, take a day off, then go back for 3 days. Yeah.
Okay.
But like I was telling the boys, I'm today's my third day straight, and I'm a little gassed, man.
I bet.
Yeah. It's good though. Means you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, and it's that's good. How do you feel like in the evening? How are you sleeping? First of all, sometimes it takes a little bit to get acclimatized to doing it, but are you sleeping better?
I always sleep well. It's not an issue. Hey, don't forget to slam that thumbs up. We've hit 100 the first 2 days of this week, which is awesome. We're back in the full swing of things. So let's keep hammering that. We're at 18 right now. Gager, let's get to the game last night. I thought the Oilers were dominant from all the way through. They didn't let their foot off the gas. They're all over them. Some beauty goals that we're going to get to in highlights, lowlights. We're going to get to the big story, which was Zadorov running over Skinner. But first, give me your thoughts on the performance by the Edmonton Oilers, because if not their best game, one of their best games of the year.
Yeah, and we talked about it a lot on a bunch of different shows yesterday. So I think one of the questions was how are they going to be going into this game, right? Yeah. They left the next day for Boston, had a day, I believe there was a day in between there. I think this was a sign of a very mature team, a very focused team. Like they went into Boston with a definite game plan and were prepared to execute that game plan.
Oh yeah.
And I think Boston was coming back, like they've been on the road a little bit and stuff, and coming back, and obviously the 4-game winless streak, I guess what it is tough to go into. But look, they didn't. Oilers didn't give him a chance to get comfortable in that.
No,
game, and I know I said I thought it would be more of a goalie battle, which it kind of was in a sense. Swayman was really good, man. And
he was,
and so right away I'm thinking, ooh, this is dangerous right now. The threat of being goalie, but they were calm, composed, took their chances. I think this morning I heard Jamie McLennan said that the Edmonton Oilers generated like 25 quality scoring chances or whatever it was. Like this, it's a team that just creates. And a very good sign. Again, though, it's a Boston Bruins team that's
not
on the way
good.
down.
Yeah,
they're still third in the Atlantic, right?
Yeah.
So you can't say they're terrible, but they still have some.
They got booed.
Elite players. Well, it's Boston. They want a performance from their team, but definitely a game where. Very difficult to take out anything negative from that game.
Two bad plays by Bouchard at the blue line that led to odd man rushes.
Yeah,
that's
just par for the course, though.
It's becoming natural. It doesn't even faze us anymore. Okay, I want to get to this. Zadorov runs over Skinner. Okay, Gager, and then after the game, Stuart Skinner did say, I just want to get to some of his quotes here. Okay, he said he got me pretty good. That's what he said. Then he said he apologized after. He saw Zadorov skate to him, tap him on the pad, say, sorry, bruh. And then he said, he's also 8 feet tall. I wasn't expecting anyone to go after him. And earlier in the interview, he said, it's about the 5th time I've been run over. Some people are reading some cryptic messages into it. I don't. I think he was just a guy being honest, and there wasn't much to it. He was just saying, yeah, I've been hit 5 times. It's more a shot at the refs, I think. But the Oilers got a power play out of it. What are your thoughts on the no response? Because I want to say this. For me, if you're going to respond in that situation, it's got to be immediate. And I don't care if the guys are smaller. Just grab them. You know what? Muck it up. Yeah. I'm not saying drop the gloves. I'm not asking Evan Bouchard to drop the gloves. Everybody was upset, Josh Brown, but there's many things that have to go into this. Josh Brown has to be on the ice with him. It sounded like Josh Brown asked him, and Zadorov didn't want to. What did you make of that whole situation? How would you like to see it handled? Because the game is changing. Mark Spector said 20 years ago, he told Skinner, that's a brawl.
Yeah.
But times have changed. So what did you see, and how would you like the Oilers to respond in that situation?
Well, I would have liked someone to just go and, whatever you're saying, just someone to get into his face a little bit. Yeah. I know he was on the ground, but a good chance to maybe tilt his helmet up or just do something, just to show. I understand the fact that there was a penalty being called. It's an important game. Sometimes the best revenge is the power play, but you can't. It leaves too much open by letting one of your star players. It's not open season at this point. And like you said, Mark Spector, it is a different game this in today's day and age, right? That stuff doesn't happen as much. I would have liked even a response of maybe an accidentally on purpose running into Swayman,
Nurse kind of did.
I know, and even Hyman did too a little bit.
Yeah, so Hyman got mad at him.
Yeah. So I mean, there was a little bit of retaliation, but you know what? At times when I played, and so I would, if a guy ran into me, right, I would, depending on how I felt, like that was a good hit. Like he took a really good pop. I can understand Stuart Skinner probably wasn't hurt at all, like just a little jarred or whatever.
Yeah.
Making sure they got the 2 minutes is what I thought Stuart Skinner was doing. But sometimes if I got run and I saw one of my players try to go after the other guy, I would have grabbed him. Okay. And I say, hey, I'm good. It's all good. Let's go on the power play. Let's score one here. So I did that sometimes. Yeah. But I just like the respect of my teammates sticking up for me or another player on the team. I think it's kind of a galvanizing moment. I didn't like the whole thing, but I did like the way that the Oilers responded. Like they laid the boots to the Boston Bruins.
And is that the best way to? Is that the best way
at
to
the
respond?
end of the day? Yeah, and the discipline that shows a mature, disciplined team too. Look at the Perry, the fight, right? Like
I felt bad for him. Because Frederick's a tough kid, man.
Yeah, but Fredericks is tough. But I just felt that he kept him off balance quite well. I would have liked to seen Perry get his balance and see what happened, because it's not like he got the wheels beat off him there.
But it's a young guy who's like a middleweight, who's a good scrapper against an older guy that you can tell he probably didn't want to go, because it started in the corner and they didn't go until they got to center, right? So,
but he drew the penalty, right? Yeah. That's what you want. We've been talking over the last few weeks the amount of hits that you see from the Oilers, but they're not a completely non-physical team either. There's just they play at a certain level, which obviously they have the puck a lot, but there's not really those real bone-crushing guys that the Bruins have.
Yeah, and there's really no one outside of Josh Brown that could fight Zadorov. There's no one.
No.
Kane might.
And Kane might, but I mean, to tell you the truth, and I said this to you before, I find Zadorov a little bit of a liability out there. Like, you want that guy on the ice, right?
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
The Connor makes him look really bad.
He's for me. He's overrated.
Way overrated.
And everybody was going crazy about him because he had a good playoff. He did.
Yeah, he scored some lucky goals.
And he was a personality, sure.
That helps.
But I think Vancouver dodged a bullet with missing out on signing him. Seriously.
Well, yeah. They would have paid him way too much. And, I mean, I asked Maddie this. I go, he's a little bit better than Darnay. And I find Darnay even tougher to play against because he's long and rangy and kind of falls on you by accident on purpose, those types of things. But, yeah,
and the Oilers are not overly physical, but Rip City Step says Oilers are top third in the league in fights this season. So, I mean, because we've seen Emberson drop him, Podkolzin's dropped him, Perry's dropped him a few times. I think Nurse has one scrap.
Yeah, he does too.
Yeah. So there's been some unlikely sources fight for the Oilers. So, but they're not an overly physical team, and that's fine, Gager, because they're winning.
And it's different. You're the ability to just run a team out of the rink physically, it doesn't exist anymore.
No.
The other team will just live on the power play after a while, I think, right?
And you don't want to do that with the Oilers.
And look, for everyone that, the Oilers are a pretty quick team with good puck movement. And they have the puck all the time. So it's a little bit concerning, but as long as they're winning, it's not a concern.
Curtis Scott says, anyone talk about the Kubusch turnovers that could have drastically changed the game? I just did, buddy. That's probably the only warts on that game yesterday.
There could have been a lot of things that happened during a game that make the outcome completely different. Like that sequence of events where Skinner makes the breakaway save and McDavid goes back and scores. That's a massive. That's the turning point of the game, I think, because it's completely changes the complexion. And the fact that, Skinner makes a great save. Connor finally scores on a breakaway.
Great pass by Nuge.
Oh, yeah. So that was kind of the game there.
You know what's cool? The Edmonton Elks are in on the Nasty Chat. talk some Elks already. Well, when's the CFL schedule coming out? How about some signings? Let's go. We'd love to talk some Elks on this show, Gager, but yesterday they signed Odoms Dukes, who missed the entire 2024 season due to injury, but an interesting receiver, an interesting guy that I'll see where he falls into the Elks' plans. But Edmonton Elks, you know we love you on this show especially, and look forward to the news you're going to make in free agency, and hopefully that damn CFL schedule will drop soon, man. We're waiting. Milt Stiegel keeps saying on Twitter, it's done.
So, yeah,
so
you could say that the Elks are putting up their Dukes? Sorry, I spend a lot of time with Gene Principe.
Yeah, you do. Shout out to everybody at the Edmonton Elks. Nothing but love for you guys. Cheese Dan, the Dahmer, my boy EJ, Daniel, our Curry. Love you guys all. Anyways, I need an update on this Tecmo game here. Dusty, what's the score? Against who? Okay, so we got the Detroit Lions, Dusty, against the San Diego Chargers, Maddie. It's 10-3, and Dusty just said he's running all over him.
Barry Sanders is going nuts. What was the overall reaction in the Nasty Chat last night?
People were... Okay, so people were very happy because it was a dominant game. Yeah. So it was great, but people were really upset about the Zadorov thing. A lot of people were like, they wanted blood.
Yeah.
They did. And I can see it... The game has changed. I get it. And if it's going to be a reaction, you have to do it immediately. Like you said, you played goalie. You probably got run over a few times. And you said you probably would have went after him yourself.
Well, I probably would have tried to grab the 2 minutes, made sure that happened. And if I, at that point, if I was fine, again, I would say, hey, I'm good. That's all right. Let's go feast on the power play. And they, that was another turning point. Because, let's face it, Zadorov tried to do that. There was his angle, and you can't tell me that Kulak pushed him enough to do that. So, just ridiculous. The other thing I want to say about Skinner, and, he was fantastic last night. Like, that was a really good game. One of the other intangible things about a goalie is their ability to stay healthy. Stuart Skinner says it himself. He's been run over 5 times this year. He's a very durable guy, right? Not a lot of injuries, knock on wood, to Stuart Skinner. He has elite level durability, I would say. Just another reason why you gotta love where Stuart Skinner's at. Because even Reed and I were saying, if you looked a few years back, you would probably say that, okay, now it's time for Stuart Skinner to start maybe taking over the number 1 goaltender position next year if everything worked out with Jack Campbell.
Yeah, and I got an interesting stat. I'll say it right before highlights. Lowlights. Bronco Nick says, here's an Elks question. Should they line up both backs beside forward and make the opposing team sweat? That's going to be awesome. Forward flanked by Javon Leake and Justin Rankin. And I got another tidbit, kind of Elks related, CFR related. That's all coming up next, along with highlights, lowlights. And you're going to want to watch highlights, lowlights, because we're going to show 2 absolute beauty goals by the Edmonton Oilers coming up next here on EST Afternoons. Keep hammering the thumbs up. Hit us up on the Nasty Chat. Text us at the River Korean box, 780-218-9999. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas. But right now, here's a sports update with our guy, Zach.
3 games dot the NHL slate with Colorado playing Chicago, Panthers battling the Hockey Club, and the Canucks against the Capitals. Elsewhere, tonight's Flames-Kings game has been postponed due to the ongoing wildfires in the Los Angeles area, with a makeup game date soon to be made. And the NHL has also announced that the Panthers will host the Rangers for a Winter Classic next year, while their state rival in Tampa will have the Stadium Series welcoming in the Bruins in early 2026. On the court, the Raps meet the Knicks, the Thunder tip off with the Cavs, while the Clippers and Nuggets duke it out, seeing 8 games around the association. This sports update is brought to you by Gimme Virtual Golf. Step into a whole new golfing experience with 240 unique courses for you to play. Plus, they have a hydraulic swing plate that automatically tees the ball up for you. with the innovative technology replicating real-life ball lies, moving the ball in 24 different directions. Gimme Virtual Golf, where innovation meets the game. Visit their website at gimmevirtualgolf.ca. Highlights, lowlights on the other side of the break here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of Injury Law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website, edmontonsportstalk.com. Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret, unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
It's 126. Welcome back to EST Afternoons. Oilers off day. Pittsburgh tomorrow. It's Joaquin Gage, the goalie. Hernan Salas, Zach Kubusch, Brendan in the house. Detroit Lions lead the San Diego Chargers 17-3 right now in the second half. Dusty's feeling pretty good about it.
Even if we had like a ticker that showed the score.
Can you imagine here? We can't do that because I won't be able to do the show. But
I know.
37 thumbs up. Keep hammering the thumbs up. Okay. Chris Jones got hired today. Do you know where?
No.
Bill Belichick. He's his defensive assistant.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Wow.
Imagine having Belichick and Chris Jones as your coaches. Ooh,
My gosh. Just, miserable. Just miserable. Do you watch like all those guys like Edelman and Gronk and even Brady? They talk about what it's like with Belichick, and Randy Moss was talking about how vicious he was in like meetings to Tom Brady, who had already won Super Bowls, and he was just saying how I could go down anywhere to a high school Foxborough team and get a guy that can complete a 10-yard pass. Like, he was just vicious.
But like with Jones, like players love him, but he's really hard. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, like he'd run tough practices. Like,
okay.
No matter what week you're in, you're just kind of like.
He's old school though,
he
right?
Is. He's very old school.
I mean, it's two completely different sports. But how did? I mean, you'll probably see a completely different way of coaching style this year, right?
Yeah.
Like just with a younger, fresh look on things and not as...
What intrigues me is how Chris Jones is when he's not the main boss. Because here with the Elks, when I was with him, he was the GM and the head coach. He ran the ship.
Yeah.
I wonder how he is when he's just an assistant coach. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, do you think there was much change when he was in Hamilton?
No, but that's like Milanovic is his buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, like those guys roomed together when they first started coaching. Like they go way back. So I think it's like you take care of the defense, but Milanovic was still the top dog. Do you know what I mean? Zach, do you have that image I sent you about Stuart Skinner? I wanted to share this. We shared it last night on the post-game show, and it's not like, oh my God, like mind-blowing, surprising, but it's The names on the list intrigued me. So here we go. So last night, Stuart Skinner. I'm just waiting for Zach to post it so I can see it. There we go. Most wins through 150 career games, Gager. Stuart Skinner is number 2 now.
Huh?
Behind only Andy Moog.
That's impressive.
He passed Grant Fuhrer, Mikko Koskinen, who's 4th, and Cam Talbot. But that's like we were talking about this list yesterday, and it's Chris Joseph didn't play long enough here. I'm surprised Tommy Salo's not on there.
Well, our screens aren't big enough. I'm way down there. You'd need to really scroll.
But that's pretty cool, man, for a guy that takes a lot of heat in this city, and that people want him gone.
Way too much heat.
Yeah.
Like, you'd think it's Los Angeles here for the amount of heat that Skinner's facing right now.
He's on a cup contender, sure, but the defense here hasn't always been the greatest. Slow starts and back-to-back errors.
That's even more pressure. It's way easier to play on a bottom feeder that's not supposed to win, and everything you do well, it's like, hey, that's great. Like, Stuart Skinner has to do well, and that's probably why, I mean, it's hard to play on a poor team, obviously, but everything's magnified so much because everyone has that eye on the prize later on. Or do we have this type of goaltender? Look at who we went through to get to the finals, and man, I just find it ridiculous that he's still talked about. Is he the right guy for the job? Of course he is. He is more than capable of being part of a Stanley Cup winning a championship team.
Mikko Koskinen surprised me. Cam Talbot was awesome in that 2017 year. Like, he was outstanding. That's his best year of his career.
He was so good that the management and staff thought that the Oilers were at a way further progression in their quest to become Stanley Cup contenders. Like, they started making roster changes that weren't warranted at that time. They needed to stick with the progress. They thought they were ahead of the curve there. And then the next year, obviously, Talbot wasn't as dominant, but all the blemishes that he covered up from the year prior, it just came to it. It showed what type of team the Edmonton Oilers really were.
See, Ron, if Stewie Skins played a little bit better, he would have been number 1. And this goes to show you how good Andy Moog was, man. Seriously.
Yeah, and so...
Because yesterday, Hellebuck became the third fastest goalie to 300 wins. And you know who's also on that list, top 5? Andy Moog.
Yeah, it must have been tough for Andy when Furzy came in. Because he kind of... I mean, they were a great tandem.
Yeah.
But
they were both number 1 goalies.
Yeah.
There was no 1A, 1B. They were both 1As.
Yeah. That's... You don't see that anymore, do you? But it only last for a little bit. Like, if I look at the one that pops to mind right away is Bishop and Vasilevsky in Tampa, right?
Swayman Allmark.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
See, I don't know about that.
Really?
Are they number 1s? Yes, but not at the level that it's weird to say they're better together than apart.
Yeah,
that's weird to say that
because Andy Moog went on to have a lot of success, right?
Boston, Dallas,
but the Oilers beat them.
Yeah, old Toddy Marchand.
And if you heard the update, the game in LA today between the Kings and Flame is postponed due to the terrible fires there, Gager.
Have you seen pictures of this thing? It's crazy. Like, I saw someone, and I hope they're okay, but he was essentially filming from the inside of his house.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it looked like the scene from what's that Seth Rogen movie? Like
the when they're in Franco's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what LA looks like. It's crazy.
Yeah, very sad. So that game has been postponed. So 3 games on the NHL schedule. Let's get to highlights, lowlights. We're gonna. Again, just like the Seattle game, all 3 goals yesterday were awesome, but I only picked 2. Enjoy them. The first one is the first goal by Rico, and it's funny because Dusty and everybody was talking about Rico needs more offense. He's fine. You said, I'm not worried because he's going to show up in the playoffs. That's what he does, right? And he even said yesterday post-game, or pregame, it's been a little bit of a transition. I think Gazzola brought this up, where he's used to playing top six, and he's in a different role now, right? So the points are not coming. But
didn't we say that, when you looked at that line of Henrique, Skinner, and Hyman, that was good. And when we looked at the Bruins' third line, we said they should feast. And I know Henrique stayed out there a little bit later at one point, but they were good, man. They ate up.
That line was awesome yesterday. Yeah. Podkolzin was great yesterday, too. He made a couple of really good defensive plays. But this is Rico's goal. And I like it because it's the old guys hooking up here for this goal. You can run it there, young Coop. So the puck is just at the point there because it's going to come around. Henrique wins a good battle here. Just very simple. Boom. Right back down to Mr. Corey Perry. And I love Corey Perry because he's still got the mitts, man.
Oh, yeah.
And then boom, and he doesn't even hold it. He doesn't dust it off or anything like that. It's just quick. It's a hell of a goal for me, Gager. When I saw that one yesterday with Tommy, we both went, "Whoa!"
I've found that the Oilers, when they do have a good scoring chance in the house like that, or the slot as it used to be called, like you mentioned, they're not dusting it off anymore.
Yeah.
Right? They're just letting her buck. Safety's off, which has to be against NHL goaltenders. If you allow them to get set up and get their feet quiet, most of the time they are going to stop that puck. But you look at Henrique there, most guys would just go on a change there, right? Because he realizes these aren't his normal line mates, right? You'd see him dump it back behind the net, probably change, but recognizes, there might be a spot here, finds the quiet ice perfectly, and makes a really, really good shot.
And what I like about it too, Gager, is that he's not wide open. Goes into there's a lot of players there, and that's why there's not many fourth line guys. That's why, and Corey Perry, early in his career, he was a top end, elite, skilled forward, and he still shows it at times.
See, so this is funny though, because we highlights, lowlights. For a lot of the year, we would be breaking down goals against the Oilers with the exact same result, and have 5 guys puck watching.
Yeah.
And they were you could have put a blanket over the Bruins in that case. Horrible defending on their part.
That's a good point. They went all to Corey Perry.
Oh, they were
even
I
thought
don't know. I mean, Corey Perry, I know he's a Hart Trophy winner and probably a future Hall of Famer, but you can look around the other parts of the ice too.
You mentioned it earlier. Tom had it as his turning point of the game. This is the sequence that led to the 2-0 goal. An awesome save by Stuart Skinner. Great pass by Nugent Hopkins and McDavid. I mean, one-on-one. It's not even fair. Let's roll it, Zach. I still don't know we'll get to it, but just a great save here I think it's with the blocker, Gager.
Yeah,
just boom.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what McAvoy's doing here. He went full Evan Bouchard there, gives it right to Nuge, and then Nuge just with a great pass.
Then guys are diving. Kind of a neat way to come in on a goaltender with McDavid that way. He came in with the puck on his backhand. It usually doesn't happen with the puck out in front of him. So a lot of misdirection, which I think probably over the last 4 breakaways McDavid's hasn't had enough. He's been too easy to read.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's flying at this point, and he keeps it on the backhand, so you don't really know what he's going to do. And just that quick to his forehand, quick shot, great goal.
It's game over there.
I mean, just it's great for these things to happen when you're on the road too, because all of a sudden, you're on the road, the home team gets a breakaway, everyone's halfway out of their seats thinking there might be a goal. There's a great save, and then within 7 seconds, there's a guy coming down on your goaltender, and then they scores. That just lets all the air out of the building too, right?
And we see it a lot.
You see it, a great save in one end, but then a goal in the other. It's the Edmonton Oilers. They were at the Stanley Cup final. The Bruins are the Bruins. It was just... That's why it was the turning point of the game, because there was just so much emotion wrapped up in 12 seconds.
Yeah, it was crazy. Coach Mike says Skinner looked dialed in yesterday. Seemed like nothing was going to get past him. Yeah, especially after he came back and he doesn't get the shutout. It's a shared shutout.
Ridiculous.
But the same thing happened in Pittsburgh, but reverse with picks and Skins. Yeah. So it's pretty cool that it happened.
I guarantee someone in the dressing room after the game, after that performance by Skinner, is they're saying, "Well, maybe someone should run him every game."
Dusty, how'd you do?
20-3, Dusty.
Did Barry Sanders hit 100?
Yeah, 111. Had 106 in the first half.
My gosh. Now we got to deal with Maddie all the rest of the day.
All right, that was highlights, lowlights, as we highlighted the goals by Rico, his first, and the Connor McDavid, which was the turning point of the game after a great save by Stuart Skinner. But that has to be one, if not their best, most complete. That was a professional game by the Edmonton Oilers yesterday. And hopefully they don't let their guard down tomorrow or Saturday, because sometimes it happens. And it happens to all the good teams. You're rolling along the way the Oilers are, undefeated in 2025. But, yeah, it should be a fun one tomorrow. Always good when it's Gino and Sid the Kid. It's weird calling him that against Leon and Connor McDavid. All right, coming up next, it's Hernan's World. Make sure you keep it locked here on EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk. Keep hammering that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And hit us up on the Nasty Chat and at the River Cree inbox at 780-218-9999. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Brew House, the Canadian Brew House. Wing Wednesdays are unbeatable at the CBH. Only 69 cents each in a mountain of flavors to savor. Flavor of the month in January is passion fruit habanero.
Ooh, have you ever had passion fruit habanero?
No, do that thing every Wednesday at the Canadian Brew House. We're back with Hernan's World here on EST Afternoons. But first up, here's a sports update with Zach.
Due to the wildfires in the Los Angeles area, the Flames-Kings game has been postponed to a later date. And tonight, Vancouver plays Washington. The Blackhawks take on the Avs before the Panthers and Hockey Club throw it down. And the NHL has also announced that the Panthers will host the Rangers for Winter Classic next year, while their state rival in Tampa will have the Stadium Series welcoming in the Boston Bruins. While in the NFL, the Browns have named Mike Bloomgren as their new offensive line coach, while the NBA has 8 games, including the Raps, tipping off against the Knicks. EST Afternoons returns on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're in the loop.
Make a fresh start in the new year with Sentinel Storage. With convenient locations near you, Sentinel Storage is here to help you make space for everything 2024 holds. Sentinel Storage. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Visit sentinelstorage.ca.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki in a tuxedo t-shirt because it says, like, he wants to be formal, but he's also here to party too.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road Park.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
When I'm up, I can't get down, can't get down, can't get level.
Don't miss Canadian singer-songwriter Alan Doyle as he brings the East to the West, January 17th.
I said, hey, it's just an ordinary day, and it's on your state of mind.
Get your tickets at River Cree Resort and Casino. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
Book your holiday party at the CBH today. The Canadian Brew House is your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. 'Tis the season to celebrate. Visit and book now in-store or at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
.144. Welcome back to EST Afternoons. We're at 46 thumbs up. Dusty with a big preseason Tecmo win over Matty Iwanek, 20-3. Just did highlights, lowlights. It's nice to do highlights only, Gager.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's nice.
I'll tell you what the low light is Matty crowing about his championship win after a preseason loss.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Hey, Matty, the Beatles broke up.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Coming up in hour 2, Mike DeFabo, Steelers beat writer for The Athletic, will join us as we're going to tee up that Ravens-Steelers game. Should be one of the good ones. Division rivals, Gager. We talked about the Ravens yesterday. Is it Lamar time? I think it has to be. So we're very intrigued to see what happens there. Penner's Pancake says, had to run to BP's for the jambalaya.
Oh.
So on Oil Stream, because it's, I think on Tuesday, it's all you can eat pasta or you can make your own.
Is that what you did last night?
No. So Dusty asked Tommy and I our favorite pasta. And I said, well, I like it all. Dusty surprisingly said fettuccine with chicken. So good for him.
Yeah.
Right.
Cream sauce, right?
Yeah. And then Tommy had a nice Italian one. I can't remember what everything he said. But I said, if I had to pick one, jambalaya.
Okay.
And then Dusty's like, what is jambalaya?
Of course.
And then we got into why it's called jambalaya. And
Okay.
I guess jambone means, what was the thing again? Ham or chicken in French?
Yeah.
And then the other word means alaya or
It's
whatever.
like a Creole
shrimp.
dish, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
krill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and BP's makes a great one with, they make it with linguine, and you got sausage, scallops, shrimp in there, some peppers.
My son had that on Sunday at Boston Pizza.
Yeah. And Penner's Pancake says, this thing is good for 3 months. It is. Because me and the girlfriend usually get it, like when we want BPs and we take out, and we can save half for the next day.
Yeah.
Because that's how big it is, Gage.
When is a typical Chilean family dinner, is it like communal? Like, do the big plates come out and then you just kind of scoop it on?
No, not really.
Okay.
No. It's more like you get your own dish.
In Italy, it's like that. Like the big thing comes out and everyone just starts eating from there.
No.
Yeah. Well, you put it on your plate. Some people are going in like Cousin Eddie, but
that's like a paella, right? Like it's how you eat it in Spain.
Yeah, I had a big paella plate to do, but I think I have an electric stove. I was going to put it on the grill, but then I think I left it out and it rusted up, and I just didn't have the patience to clean it.
I can't wait till you invite me over for dinner one day. That'll be great.
Maybe you're moving up on the ladder for dinner invites.
Well, because I see what you cook, and like you have all these little gadgets and cool things like a smoker and all that. So like I'm intrigued. I don't use a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of seeing what I can do with that little toaster oven. I'm busy right now, but I'll make us a lunch one time.
Yeah. I've become a pretty good cook. I've learned a lot on just Googling recipes or YouTube, or I call mom.
Like how many are on your phone right now that you've bookmarked or liked?
My IG is all bookmarked recipes, and I followed a thing called the Steak Channel on IG. Oh, and they just show you different ways to cook steak.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, mine are absolutely jam packed with food ideas.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. All right, let's get to good old Hernan's World here, as always brought to you by the Garrison Curling Club. If you and your team are looking for a fun and exciting way to build some chemistry, look no further than the Edmonton Garrison Memorial Curling Club. Located on CFB Edmonton, the Garrison Curling Club offers 6 sheets of ice, a full-service bar with kitchen, and includes all equipment needed for corporate bonspiels. And the Garrison Curling Club is run by Nasties. As an added bonus, they will offer 10% off ice rentals to all EST listeners. Email curling at egmgolf.com and mention EST to book your corporate bonspiel today. And we're having our fun spiel.
It's coming up.
February 15th. If you're a Nasty Club member, check your emails and you can participate. And then if there's spots open, they're going to open it up. Gager, curling, your thing?
I've actually only taken part in 2 curling events, and I won one. It was the Oilers Bonspiel.
Oh, okay.
I was a champion one year. We lost pretty quickly the next, but yeah, I like it. I need the cheaters, like just to stabilize and stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing that you don't realize, and I'll warn you now. It's a good thing you're getting a lot of activations in. Like, do some upper back, because sweeping is sneaky how it affects your body when you don't use those muscles a lot. Like, I woke up the next day and the whole right side of, like, right underneath the shoulder blade, I was like, why is that so sore? And it was because I was sweeping the whole time.
I might be a sweeper because I've never curled, Gager, so
I've done it twice, man.
Yeah.
I was a championship once. So
yeah, that's cool. We gotta make teams.
It's fun.
I think
fun.
we're entering 2 teams here.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's
pick me.
It's hard to They make it look so easy. That's the thing. It looks like a pretty easy sport, but how they can read the ice and the little touches they can put on it so it curls in, it's impressive.
Truly is. It truly is. It's time for Hernan's World.
Viva la raza!
Latino Heat.
Matt at the Garrison says, do some groin stretches too. Well, because that's all attached to your lower back, right? Like if you're stretching your groins, it's going to help, right? So,
I stretched so much yesterday. Actually, I was watching a great. I'll get to that later.
What was I going to say? I like going to those things just to have like pitchers of beer. It's like old school.
It's funny.
I love pitchers, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I remember BPs used to have team pitchers. Remember the big? I don't know if they still do that actually. Like the big 4-liter pitchers.
Oh,
They're for teams, right?
Yeah,
you have to have more than 4
with
people.
the little nozzle on there.
Yeah.
I don't know where they have those anymore. I used to get the Red Bull vodkas in Europe. It was great.
Red Bull vodkas. Those are not good for you.
No.
All right, so let's get to this. I want to ask you this. So today would have been Elvis Presley's and David Bowie's birthday. Are you a fan?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They both celebrate the birthday on the same day. Both have passed away, obviously. So I want to ask you, Gager, give me 2 artists that are no longer here on this planet that you would have loved to seen live.
Seen live?
Yeah.
That are passed away. Oh, you know what? I'll go right away. Prince would be one. And
you know he came one year.
Did he?
Edmonton, yeah.
I fell in love with Prince after the Chappelle show with Charlie Murphy. The story of Prince playing basketball and beating them all.
He was really good.
And he was really good. Gosh, the second, Prince came really fast. The second would have to be, you know what? I loved this band at that time. It would probably be Kurt Cobain with Nirvana.
Really?
Yeah.
I like your Prince pick. I truly do. I think it's fantastic. That's
Kurt Cobain or Chris Cornell. Kind of either. I know that's 3, but those 2.
Really?
Chris Cornell. You listen to his stuff. It's amazing.
I was going to go Prince, but I won't because you picked him. But Prince would have been awesome, man. Like, absolutely legendary. But I'm going to go hip-hop for my first one.
Okay.
Tupac. I'm a big West Coast guy. OG.
Okay. I didn't know you owned Kevlar, but that's good.
But he would have been awesome to see. And I'm not a big concert guy. I'm not. I don't like being around people.
No,
yeah. And, like, if you stand up, people get mad at you. Like, I get all awkward and stuff.
I don't know how you can. Whatever. That's a discussion for another time.
No, but it's true. Like, it's... Like, just stand up, man. Like,
I
don't know
dancing,
why you
would sit down. Yeah.
Unless it's like slow music or whatever like that. But I mean, if you're at a concert, you got to stand.
Yeah, I say just take the seats out for a concert. Outdoor concerts are great.
You know who doesn't like people standing at concerts?
Who?
Strutty.
Oh, Jesus. It's embarrassing.
Let's see here.
Well, maybe that's because the guy's a tall drink of water. Right, and when Strutty stands up, everyone's probably sit down. You know,
yeah,
like
he's a big dude.
He's a big dude. You could he could show an IMAX movie on that back of his. So
Van Owen says Rush with Neil Peart. I think that's or Pearl. Never was a fan until after he passed. Big Uke says Prince and Queen with Freddie Mercury.
Did you watch that Bohemian Rhapsody? It's
great,
movie?
man.
That's great. Yeah.
It's great. I'm trying to think of another one because you stole my Prince. I mean, there's so many good ones. I mean, but I'm a big hip hop guy.
Yeah.
I was never like I like Tom Petty, but it's not something where I was like, oh, you know, I would go like Tom Petty's a good one.
I remember. You remember the hats that Tom Petty would wear?
Oh yeah.
So when down in the factory, the musical artist would probably be in there. We practice at a different place, and we come back, and Petty was in there that night, and there was I want to say there was like 50 pizza boxes outside of his bus, but that hat was on top of the pizza boxes, and one of the guys on my team grabbed it, and we had it in our room. I don't know if it was actually Tom Petty's hat, but we said it was.
Do you have an appetite for Michael Jackson? I mean, it probably would have been unreal.
Do I? I mean, when I was a kid, I remember going to Eaton's downtown and 3 of my buddies looking at Michael Jackson jackets and wanted to buy the Thriller jacket.
And wear a
right?
glove.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know. Too much. After those documentaries and stuff.
No, I know. But let's just look at it as strictly as an artist, like when we were young, like obviously.
Oh yeah, when I was young, obviously, I wouldn't accept free tickets to go see Michael Jackson.
Bronco Nick says Prince, George Michael, Michael Jackson. Curtis Scott says the Eagles. Giant Mike says
Eagles
John.
are still alive.
Well, maybe they're lead. I wouldn't know that. Giant Mike says Johnny Cash.
Yeah, Glenn Fry. Yeah, the Eagles. Most of the Eagles are still alive, aren't they? Don Henley, he's still. Weren't they just at the Sphere? Just go down to Scott. Just go down to Vegas, man.
Baggio says Chris Cornell at the Windspear. I missed it when he was here, and he passed away a year later.
Yeah, that would have.
And then Old School Nasty says Chris Cornell was amazing, the GOAT in my opinion. Lucky enough to have seen him 3 times. Any appetite for Gord Downie for the Tragically Hip?
Oh yeah,
he was good.
Yeah.
I got into their music as I got older though.
So I distinctly remember when he was on his last tour there, and he had passed away. I believe it was probably right at the start of the. It was at the start of the NHL season, and all of Hockey Night in Canada played hip music throughout the.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is if you go back and listen to it, especially for any hockey player of my vintage in dressing rooms, the hip was a constant, right?
Yeah.
So, and right then, like it was getting dusty in my room, in my kitchen, because I was just hearing all this hip, and all those memories of all the teams that I played with were just flooding back to me. It was, it was definitely a huge part of my young adulthood.
When I was younger, I wasn't, but like I said, when I got older, and then you he has so many just if you listen to the lyrics too, such good music.
Man. Yeah, it was so. And I didn't realize this about the hip too, is they were, they didn't go massive in the U.S., but they had a very large following, I would say, down the east coast of the U.S. We would go to places and be playing hockey, and you'd see a bar, and it would say the Tragically Hip, and we're like, "Are you kidding me? Let's
awesome.
Stay another night and go watch them."
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got another one. Tina Turner.
Oh yeah.
She's awesome, man.
Just imagine, I mean, back in those days, because now concerts are, Taylor Swift puts on a 3.5 hour. I'd go see Taylor Swift.
It's a spectacle, man.
Yeah. I saw this guy in a TikTok video, and he was just completely disgruntled and didn't want to do it, and he was going to a Taylor Swift and his wife was all excited, and his 2 little daughters, and he's like, oh. And then he's afterwards they show him, and his heads on the steering wheel drive, and the wife goes, well, what'd you think? And he didn't move his head at all. He goes, it was the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I went to a few concerts where I didn't really want to go, but I went to Imagine Dragons. I had a good time. Not my kind of music, but the lead singers. For me, it's always about the lead singer.
Oh yeah,
the lead singer was awesome.
Yeah. I saw Wyclef Jean in Stockholm.
Seriously?
It was great, man. He came out in the crowd and was crowd surfing.
I love Wyclef.
Yeah. He was great.
I saw Depeche Mode here.
Wow.
That was great, man. That was fantastic. Again, lead singer is
he's just.
Yeah. Any Depeche Mode fans out there? Man, I'm going to listen to that. It's been a while. Because that's late 80s, early 90s music, man. That stuff was great.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Absolutely fantastic.
It's how many CDs did you buy for just one song? I can't.
Well, they had the one that had the roses on the cover. That one's probably their best one because it has all Enjoy the Silence, Policy of Truth, and all those ones. So really, really good. All right, that's Hernan's World for the Garrison Curling Club. Let us know which artist that is no longer with us would have loved to see live. Keep those coming into the River Cree inbox 780-218-9999 or hit us up on the Nasty Chat. In hour 2, Mike DeFabo at 2:20. He's the Steelers beat writer for The Athletic as we'll tee up Steelers Ravens. We'll continue the Oilers and football and whatever you guys want to talk about. Yesterday was cars. Today we're talking about musicians. So keep it locked here on EST Afternoons. We're back after the break.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
When I'm up, I can't get down, can't get down, can't get level.
Don't miss Canadian singer-songwriter Alan Doyle as he brings the East to the West, January 17th.
I said, hey, 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 it's just an ordinary day, and it's on your state of mind.
Get your tickets at River Cree Resort and Casino. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
There's 3 games on the NHL slate with Colorado playing Chicago, the Panthers battling the Hockey Club, and the Canucks against the Capitals. Elsewhere, tonight's Flames-Kings game has been postponed due to the ongoing wildfires in the Los Angeles area, with a makeup date soon to be made. And the NHL has also announced that the Panthers will host the Rangers for a Winter Classic next year, while their state rival in Tampa will have the Stadium Series welcoming in the Bruins in early 2026. In the NFL, the Browns have named Mike Blomgren as their new offensive line coach. And on the court, the Raps meet the Knicks, seeing 8 games around the association. EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage continues right now. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and that was your Sports Update.
Zach with some Latin flavor for y'all. If that doesn't get you going, I don't know what will on this Wednesday afternoon. Welcome to EST Afternoons. This is hour 2. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, producers Brendan and Zach Kubusch in the house as well. Hit us up on the Nasty Chat. Text us at the River Cree inbox 780-218-9999. The afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Kitchen Restaurant, all-you-can-eat prime rib buffet for just $49.99 every Sunday from 4 to 10 p.m. If you like to listen to us, iHeart, TuneIn, radio apps, and we're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. Zach, put your mic on. We were talking about artists you would have loved to see back when they were with us here on planet Earth, and you were a little bit busy, but you want to share yours, so the floor is yours, my friend.
Well, at one time, a young Zachticum a young long-haired Zachticum. I had the mop going. I was a big metalhead, and I was big into Metallica, and they had a band member who tragically passed away in 1986. His name was Cliff Burton. He was the bassist of the band, probably the best musician from the band. I would love to see him live. and of course the great Johnny Cash, man. Those are the two picks that I would make for artists that are no longer with us that I would like to see.
Who's the bassist now with Metallica? What's his
name? His name is Robert Trujillo.
Okay.
He's Latino.
Yeah, I like how he plays the bass, like
with passion.
Yeah.
He
looks angry.
Yeah. He holds it low and like he plays it straight from the crotch, right? Where a bass should be played.
He was also a fan of the band before.
Yeah, I remember kind of he came in and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here," and stuff.
Kind of like me and Trev with EST.
Yeah.
Best bass player is Lucas Holt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He gets into it too, man. Yeah.
He plays it from the crotch.
Did you know Jay Milne was a front man for a band that opened for Treble Charger?
I didn't know that. So.
Like, how did we just find out about this week?
I had no idea.
It was supposed to be Sum 41 before they canceled.
Like, he's the lead singer, so he must have a voice of an angel.
Really?
I said, do you have any copies of your music? And
he does. He hasn't brought them in.
No, he said he found a CD, but it doesn't work.
That's because he put it on a record player.
If you're in a band, what like drummer, guitar, bassist, or lead singer?
I don't know, man.
Piano, whatever.
Oh, let's go rock. Let's keep it easy. Rock bands, okay? So 4 positions. I mean, who doesn't think they'd be the front man? I think I'd love to be able to sing. I'd be lead vocals.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like guitar because when you get the solo.
Oh, you like to rip like that?
Yeah. Zach?
I'd be the guy who kind of melts into the background, not as much as bass players. Apologies to all bass players. Good skill. 4 strings. But I would be the rhythm guitarist. So not the soloist, but I'd be like the...
Oh, look at this guy.
I guess the James Hetfield without the singing.
All right. Okay.
Good stuff. 54 thumbs up. Let's get to 100. Got a ways to go still. So if you haven't hammered that thumbs up, please do so. Bronco Nick says, Depeche Mode is my favorite band, boys. Lars Y says, Depeche Mode. And the album I was talking about is called Violator with the Rose.
Right.
Yeah. That's an awesome one. Nasty Ken A says, In Excess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But specifically, Michael Hutchins. Yeah. In Excess was pretty good, man.
Huge, man. I loved it.
I remember Buddy the lead singer, always used to sing with no shoes on. AB says DMX.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a good one, recent. That's sad. I was listening to DMX the other day.
And then Dog Dad says, Jay Milne is still alive and has an incredible new cut. Oh, boy. I'd love to hear that, though, for real. And then Curtis Scott says, Hernan, do you mean Brundon? What's the joke here?
I don't know. Because I think this morning.
Oh,
Trev,
okay. Yeah.
I fell for that, too. You know, we've got Mike DeFabo coming up here soon. I was just looking at the spread in the Ravens-Steelers game. 10 points.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Which way would you go? Do you think the Ravens will cover?
I'd probably, because if the Steelers, then they have to be within 10 or they win the game. So I think you probably make more money doing that, obviously.
Yeah, that's pretty close, actually. But I'm just surprised it's so.
Lamar worries me, man.
Does he?
Because like Bo Smolka said yesterday, like he's good in the regular season, but there's something about playoffs sometimes that he's just off sometimes, and he struggles against the Steelers. Yeah, he worries me.
Like looking at all these games this weekend, so just the spreads alone. So it's got Ravens by 10, Eagles Packers 4.5, Bills Broncos 9, and Chargers Houston Texans 3. So I mean they're interesting spreads. Like I hate those close ones because it's just like, ugh.
I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd probably take the Steelers because I think they could still lose, but I don't think it's going to be by 10.
I don't think it's going to be by 10 too.
Yeah. So
I just like the biggest worry about the Steelers, obviously, and we talked about it before, is just coming in, losing their last 4, right? But I think there is something to shedding what the regular season's done sole focus on the Baltimore Ravens right now. A little bit of a chip on your shoulder. No one's giving them a chance. I think that's a good bet.
Yeah, I might have to. I love sprinkling on playoff games because it's. I mean, we might see a blowout. I just want someone to take down the Chiefs. Like seriously, like
yeah.
And it's nothing again. They're great. They've earned all the respect that they have right now. But it's time to move on. And yeah, I just want to see a team take them down. I want to see Jaden Daniels. I think Bo Nix isn't tough against the Buffalo Bills, but Jaden Daniels is playing the Bucs. I think that's a game that can go either way.
Yeah, that's a 3-point spread on that one too. So
I wouldn't mind if Minnesota lost. Actually, but I like Sam Darnold. Oh, good for him, man.
Yeah,
but they're playing the Rams.
That's going to be a good game.
Yeah,
that's going to be a really good game.
It's Chargers.
I think
Texans.
it's as long as I like competitive football. Like when I watch it, when I don't really have any skin in the game, I don't want to. I guess I could say this about any. I hate seeing blowouts. I don't like looking at games in the fourth quarter and saying there's no opportunity for this team to come back.
And especially the way the last 3 minutes go in the NFL, it's just there's absolutely no chance compared to what we see in the CFL.
Yeah.
Lars says, Hernan, I said Depeche old. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see here. The Chiefs to lose would blow up so many brackets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're due, man. And they're a hell of a team. Don't get me wrong, man.
And you know what? Say what you want about squeaking by a lot of these games and winning. That's just a team that knows how to win to me. I don't care if you win by 1 or 50. If you have a record at the end of the season like that, you're a really good football team.
Yeah,
you're a good any team.
They don't care how it's done as long as they're winning games, right? So you're on the Ravens. I think Zach was on the. Do we remember what team he selected?
No.
Detroit.
Yeah, the Lions too. Will Dan Campbell screw his team again?
Of course.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be.
He's gonna make a ridiculous call, but no, I don't know because he didn't in the last game there, and a lot was riding on that for the bye week.
And fairness too, but they ran away with it.
I know.
Yeah,
but not at that point. He kicked the field goal because of the turnover and got the points on the board, which is very uncharacteristic for Campbell to do. Right?
Do you think management went onto him and said, "Stop screwing around, bro"?
I think they'd be scared. Doesn't he bite kneecaps and stuff?
He sure does. It's going to be an interesting one. If you haven't heard, former Elks general manager and head coach hired as a defensive assistant by Bill Belichick, and he'll be joining the North Carolina Tar Heels.
So isn't he from North Carolina, or is he from?
No, he's from South Pittsburgh, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Did you see the knee on Connor Zary last night from the Flames?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was bad. Like he went down and he was physically grabbing his knee and yelling. Yeah. So I guess they're gonna wait for the swelling to go down and then go from there. And Josh Morrissey also left last night's game.
He's still questionable for tonight, though. Right?
Yeah, it sounds like
Friday.
it's a fluid situation. I want to throw this at you guys. Okay, name this player, and this for our nasties too. Name this player. He had an unbelievable start, Gager. Okay, in his first 21 games, he had 35 points. In his last 20 games, he has 12. Who is that player?
This year?
Yeah.
And this is on any team?
Yeah.
Dylan Strome.
No.
Shifley.
No, we were talking about him as a Hart candidate early on in the season.
Jack Eichel.
No.
Oh, I know who we're talking about here. Yeah, it was an uncharacteristic guy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shoot. I won't think of it.
Kaprizov?
No. I think he's hurt right now.
Oh,
nope,
yeah,
it's
right.
not Kaprizov, Aiden O'Neill. He plays in the U.S.
Can I have one more guess?
His team colors are red, white, and black.
No way. I know it.
Go.
Jack Hughes.
No.
What?
Oh, no, it's red, white, and black.
Yeah.
Oh, Nisitz.
Martin Nekash.
Nekash. That's who it is.
What a fall, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, he still has 47 points, which is awesome.
Well, what added to it was his game against the Oilers that when they came here too. He was unbelievable.
But I was just doing because the reason I know is because I have him in fantasy and he's not scoring as of late. So I was like, I got to get into this and check out the numbers. So I did this morning. So 35 points in his first 21 games, Gager. Remember at one point he was leading the NHL?
Yeah.
And then only 12 in his last 20 with only 3 goals, Gager.
Really?
Yeah, that's a fall if I ever saw one. Congratulations to Bronco Nick. And Aidan O'Neill says, yes.
Netches. What's Nekash? Nekash.
Natchez.
Natchez?
Martin Natchez. Now you're getting me mixed
We have
up.
a pronouncer guide in the bullpen for every
I
single
should.
player, but let's just call him Martin. Actually, let's get it. Let's get the proper way to say his name because Gager and I are butchering it. SNFU, Edmonton Punk Royalty. That comes in from E-Train. Okay, cool. And then what else do we got here? AB says Amy Winehouse for someone they would like to see. Yeah. That's an interesting documentary. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't watched that one.
No. So I'm reading Adrian Newey's book, and I was telling because we're both reading it, and gets really technical.
Oh,
man.
it's a lot of those pages are flying right over your head.
I'm like,
with some
what?
of that stuff. I mean, if you're a real motorhead and you design things, that would be fascinating for you to see them. But I mean, I take what I want. Like sometimes I think I got to understand everything. You don't need to, but you can kind of get the gist of it because he does have his actual drawings of what he was doing when designing cars, which is kind of cool. And how he moved the cockpit and where the driver sat. He wanted their heels closer together and the pedals and where the gear shift was back in the day when they had gear shifts that they had to actually reach down and grab and stuff like that. So pretty cool.
Fanoan says, get into math, Hernan. That ship has sailed, my friend. I was never good at math. So, no, but it's interesting, right? Like, and I just love the way he kind of put himself out there. He sent letters to all the teams back then. He said some didn't reply. Some said, no, we're good. And then he ended up on a small team. They shut their doors. And I'm at that point where I think he makes another big step.
Have you
here.
got to the Mario and Michael Andretti stuff?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. It sounds like Mario was a pretty tough dad because he raced against his son at times too, right? And he was like, stupid kid.
You got it there, Zach?
We have B-Man Brendan found it for us. It's Martin Natchez.
Natchez.
N-A-Y-C-H-A-S.
Natchez. I like that. Natchez.
That is good.
Well, we were saying Nakash.
Yeah.
You were.
Natchez.
I was.
Speaking of F1, did you see what Lando said about Carlos Sainz? That
he's a jabroni?
No, that he'll be back in a winning car again at some point.
Because where did Sainz go?
Williams.
And he's going to be with Albon? No.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's a good team.
That's not a bad duo.
Yeah.
It's crazy how Williams was like the best back in the day.
Yeah, when you're reading that book, like they're the top team, right? And I mean, they've been from when obviously I started getting into F1. They've come a long way, man. Like they're usually a team that's getting points at least. They're not
because in the first Drive to Survive, the daughter was kind of in charge, and they're really, really bad.
Terrible.
Yeah, is she still in charge?
No, but she's a Williams, right?
Yeah,
but
so
she gave up. Like she's no longer the team principal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was the team principal, I think, but she's still probably
she's
involved.
Still part of Williams Racing. Yeah.
I can't wait. How much longer until testing? End of February?
Yeah, so 9.5 weeks.
Okay, it's not too bad. So we have 2 practicums now. Penner's Pancake says Benny and Brunny. Oh yeah, Benny who works with the Hello Hockey Show.
Oh right. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well job, Brunny, says Lingus Knight D9. All right, we got to get to a break. We're going to switch gears and talk some NFL football as the Steelers will take on the Ravens. And to talk all things Steelers, it will be Mike DeFabo joining us here on EST Afternoons. We're back after the break, but first up, a sports update with Zach.
On the ice, Florida visits Utah. The Avs and Blackhawks go at it while the Canucks meet the Capitals. Elsewhere, the Kings-Flames game has been postponed due to the ongoing wildfires in the surrounding Los Angeles area, with a makeup date to be scheduled. And the NHL has also announced that both Florida hockey teams are set to host an outdoor game, with the Panthers and Rangers playing January 2nd and the Lightning battling the Bruins in early February 2026. Down south, Mike Bloomgren has been hired as the next offensive line coach for the Browns, while the NBA sees Toronto facing the Knicks on an 8-game NBA slate. On the other side of the break, Mike DeFabo joins EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Hockey lives at the Canadian Brew House. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. Plus, you can win game tickets and a surf and turf dinner for two at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com. This is your chance to win big with the Split the Pot Lottery. Support the Capital Care Foundation to help Alberta seniors get the care they deserve and support more healthcare foundations across the province. With a grand prize draw that grows with every ticket sold, the jackpot is hundreds of thousands and just keeps getting bigger. Visit splitthepot.ca and buy your tickets now. Don't forget to pick Capital Care Foundation as your foundation of choice. Next jackpot is January 16th, license number 713959.
Welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. You want to connect with us, hit us up on the Nasty Chat on the EST YouTube channels. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west side of the city. You want to hit us up on the text line. It's the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999. And as we're going to talk some NFL right now with Mike DeFabo. He's the Steelers beat writer for The Athletic as they take on the Ravens. We did a Ravens preview yesterday. Today we're going to head to Steeltown, talk some Steelers as we bring in Mike DeFabo. Mike, it's been a while. I remember back at the old station at 1260, we used to bring you on to talk hockey. How's the transition been from the Penguins to the Steelers, my man?
They're kind of at interesting places because both teams are similar in the sense that they had aging stars and now I guess the Steelers are maybe one step ahead where they're in the post-Ben Roethlisberger era where the Steelers are still, or the Penguins are still trying to hang on to those last glory days with Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, I know for sure. Mike, let's get to this game. It's their fifth meeting in the playoffs. Steelers have won 3 of those. The Steelers are coming in, though, on a 4-game losing streak. How are the vibes there with the Steelers? How are they feeling going into this big game against Lamar Jackson?
Well, you talk to guys like Russell Wilson, and he's the eternal optimist. Everything is a positive to him, and everything is we have to respond the right way. But I will tell you, around the city of Pittsburgh and amongst Pittsburgh Steelers fans, the vibes are very low. And the reason for that is if the Steelers fail to win a playoff game this year, it will be the 8th consecutive postseason that the Steelers have not won. Now, this is a fan base that is used to going to Super Bowls. This is a fan base that considers itself like, you know, they're the football version of like the Lakers or the, you know, they're feeling now though like the Toronto Maple Leafs in a sense, where they're this big fan base that thinks that we should always win all the time, but they don't. And so, you know, there's definitely heat on Mike Tomlin, no doubt about it, because I think nationally and maybe internationally, the perception of him, rightfully so, is he's a great coach. Next season, he'll enter top 10 in wins. He'll probably pass Chuck Noll as the winningest coach in Steelers history. But it's that playoff drought that really people hold against him.
Mike, you mentioned Tomlin, and we see so much turnover in other sports, and even in the NFL with head coaches. Just can you give us a little bit of a background of why the Steelers seem to stay with their guy for so long and are so loyal? And if on the second part of this question, if they do end up losing this game, do you think this is the last you see of Mike Tomlin?
Well, to answer your second part, no, I don't. I think that that's going to be a media narrative, and people will talk about, well, maybe they could trade Mike Tomlin, or maybe they would part ways. But really, you have to look at what the Rooneys have done. And in 1969, they hired Chuck Noll, and he took a franchise that was the doormat. They were the Cleveland Browns of the NFL at the time, and he elevated them to new heights. They became a dynasty, and that's really been their business model ever since. They've only had 3 coaches since 1969, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and now Mike Tomlin. Wow. And there's definitely benefits to that continuity. Look at some of these failing organizations where they bring in a GM. He didn't hire the coach. He didn't draft the quarterback. So all of a sudden, he wants his own coach. He wants his own quarterback. Then a couple years later, things don't work out well. Well, they fire one of those guys. Now all of a sudden, that coach doesn't like the quarterback, so they have to change quarterback. So there's benefits in the continuity where the Steelers are running similar defensive schemes that they've run for years and years. When they had Ben Roethlisberger, they had the same quarterback and the same vision. So very much the Steelers feel like we have one of the best coaches in the league. He just last offseason received a raise and an extension. So he's now one of the 5 highest paid coaches in all of professional sports. So that tells you how this team feels about him. So there's definitely pressure on Mike Tomlin in terms of public perception and in terms of his approval rating. But I really don't believe that his job is on the line with this wild card game.
Mike, like you said, they haven't won a playoff game since 2016. In order for the Steelers to break that streak, is it as simple as saying TJ Watt and the defense are going to have to go in there and kind of be the story of the game for them to pull this one out?
Yeah, that's definitely going to have to be a big part of this. And you look at how Lamar Jackson has played Mike Tomlin defenses over the years, and Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin defenses have basically been his kryptonite. And he is fantastic against the rest of the league. Even this season, he's put together an MVP caliber season, but the first time the Steelers and Ravens met, they were only able to put up 16 points. And at the time, the Ravens were number 1 in basically every single offensive category: points scored, rushing attack, red zone efficiency. And yet the Steelers held them out of the end zone until the fourth quarter. So that, once again, is going to need to be the blueprint. The trouble is, you look at the most recent matchup in early December, and the Ravens got the Steelers that time. And Lamar kind of got the monkey off his back. And in that game, the Ravens looked like the Ravens. So the couple of things you need to count on if you're like rooting for the Steelers or you hope that they win. Number one, in the most recent game, Deshaun Elliott, a very physical in-the-box safety, was not playing in that game. He's a big difference maker in the run game, will help against Derrick Henry and Lamar in the read option. Number two, George Pickens did not play in the most recent game. He's their deep threat. He's their get-out-of-jail-free card. When nothing's going right on offense, you just bomb it deep to him. And the third thing, and maybe most importantly, for some reason, when AFC North teams meet, nothing makes sense. Weird things happen. The Browns beat both the Steelers and the Ravens, and the Browns are trash this year. So if that can happen in the AFC North, weird things can happen in the playoffs.
Mike, you see two teams coming into this game, very different paths, one winning for, one losing for. Can the Steelers kind of essentially start a brand new season here? Does it matter that they've lost this last 4 games to affect them? And saying that, is that the reason why we see such a discrepancy in the point spread? Do you see at least the Steelers covering that, or is it just because of how both teams entered the postseason?
It's interesting because before this skid, the Steelers were 10-3. Mike Tomlin was getting a lot of buzz for Coach of the Year because the Steelers really were overperforming. People were saying, maybe Russell Wilson deserves a big $30 or $40 million a year contract extension to keep him in Pittsburgh as the long-term future, or at least the, medium-term future. I think the best thing if you're Steelers is you have to consider the caliber of competition that they played. Now, they played during that span. It started with the Philadelphia Eagles, then it went to the Baltimore Ravens on the road, and then they played against the Kansas City Chiefs, the two-time defending Super Bowl champs, and finally against Joe Burrow, who's Joe Burrow. So, those 3 games in 11 days were supposed to tell us how close could this team come to winning the Super Bowl against 3 contenders. Unfortunately, they struck out. And if you lose one of them, there's no shame in losing to the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Everybody's done it this year. But when you lose 3 weeks in a row to 3 legitimate contenders, that kind of tells you there's a hard ceiling of where this team can reach. And I feel like in a lot of ways, winning one round of the playoffs might be their ceiling.
Mike DeFabo, Steelers beat writer for The Athletic, joining us here on EST Afternoons. Mike, a big question mark, I guess, is Russell Wilson. How's he looked since taking over for Justin Fields? I mean, we get a lot of Steelers games up here in Edmonton, so we do get to watch him a lot. But what do you make of Russell Wilson heading into this game? And I just think not only does the defense have to be great, but Russ has got to show flashes of old Russ as well, right, to pick up the dub here.
Yeah, and that kind of was the formula coming into the season for the Steelers, is they've had for years a defense that they built to try to give Ben Roethlisberger a chance to make one more run. Then Ben retired, and this defense has been good enough that last year they lugged Mason Rudolph and Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett to the playoffs. It was on the backs of that defense, and because of TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and company. So the whole thought going into the season is, if the defense was that good to get to the playoffs last year, if they can have a decent running game, and then Russ adds just that little spark with his patented moon ball, maybe that's enough to push the Steelers over the top and make them contenders. And for the first couple games, it looked like that. And really the thing that was the biggest thing that Russ brought was that moon ball. Over his career, he's been one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL, and it married perfectly with a guy like George Pickens, who has an insane catch radius, one of the most athletic, gifted, talented guys in the NFL in terms of the deep ball. This 4-game, I guess now, skid coincides directly with George Pickens' absence. He missed, he missed 2 of those 3 games, and then was kind of a non-factor, minimized in the last 2. So for the Steelers to win, yes, they have to play great defense. They have to run the ball a little bit better. But I think the biggest thing is hunting those deep shots and finding a way that the defense is going to try to take away Russ's biggest strength, but can you still find ways to scheme it up and pick your spots and create that explosive element that's been missing recently?
Mike, I can't let you go just for personal reasons. I want to know, I realize most eyes are on this Steelers game, but there's also a hockey game on tomorrow night. And in Pittsburgh, with, obviously a lot of history with Sidney Crosby. He was arguably the best hockey player for the past, few decades in the NHL. Are people excited when a player, the new blood comes in like a Connor McDavid, and want to watch this kind of matchup tomorrow night and kind of a measuring stick to see where the Penguins are?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was still covering the team, the Penguins, back on a daily basis, back when Connor McDavid, was also, like, obviously these are 2 of the stars of the league. And, Pittsburgh very much is a hockey town. And, I can't say enough about just like what Mario Lemieux has meant to Pittsburgh, what Sidney Crosby has meant. And so when you bring in star caliber players, definitely all eyes are going to be on them. And the Penguins have had an interesting season. You asked me about the Steelers sticking with one coach for so long. The Penguins are kind of breaking the mold in the sense that they stuck with Mike Sullivan through some turmoil early in this year. And now, as the Penguins are starting to pull themselves out of their slump and look like a much better team than earlier in the year, really that decision, I think, is being justified. And so we'll have to see where it goes from here for the Penguins. But, I think that the combined postseason failures by both of these organizations have made for a frustrated fan base in Pittsburgh, because they just want some kind of postseason success, whether that's Penguins or whether that's the Steelers. And it's been so long since they've enjoyed something from either one of the 2.
Mike, only on Edmonton show are people asking our NFL guests about trade rumors with the Oilers and Penguins. I won't say what they are.
I love it though. No, please do. I love it.
It says, ask Mike if he's heard the rumor about the Oilers talking to the Penguins for D-Man Pettersson. So,
well, so when I was covering Marcus Pettersson, he has a very interesting story because Jim Rutherford acquired him, and along with guys like John Marino and P.O. Joseph, and he thought he had remade the blue line and made them younger.
Yeah.
And Pettersson was the guy that was on every NHL hockey team. There's the defenseman that the whole fan base blames for everything that goes wrong. And Marcus Pettersson became that guy. And I felt so badly for him because I had a personal relationship with him. He was a great guy. And he kind of was, he was playing next to a lot of offensive-minded defensemen, and he was a stay-at-home guy. He has really turned it around where he went from a guy that you would say, we got to trade this guy because he can't be in our top six defensemen. Now you're looking at him being like, this guy, we need to trade him because he's one of our few tradable assets, that he's actually good. And so I don't know about necessarily those specific rumors, but I will say that he is a guy that you would want in a locker room, good character guy. And also I think he pairs very well with offensive-minded guys. He's had to be the defensive conscience in pairings with a Chris Letang or an Erik Karlsson, guys that want to showcase their skills. He's had to be the responsible one. He's gotten much better as his career's gone on, and I'm really happy to see it's been a bit of a redemption story for him.
Mike, great stuff. Thank you for humoring our fan base here. You can't get away
Mike.
without a hockey question. So, Mike,
I love it.
Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the game on the weekend. And my nephew's a Steelers fan, so I'm kind of cheering for them to get through here. But I'm sure we'll chat again if the Steelers get through, my friend.
Sounds great. Thank you guys so much for having me. And if you have any more hockey questions, happy to come on and answer those too.
All right. That's Mike DeFabo, Steelers beat writer for The Athletic. He covered the Penguins for a while. I used to book him back at 1260 to talk Pens. Always willing to come on. He was great.
Yeah.
Absolutely great. But that's funny, though. So, Jack, there you go, my friend. We asked the question there for you, and he humored us there. That was great. That is good. Yeah, it's going to be the battle, and I think what he said was interesting. Where it's like Lamar Jackson's like kryptonite is Mike Tomlin's
defense.
prep for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I love this. Like the playoffs in the NFL are great because it's like the playbooks that you've probably seen throughout the whole are completely gone, right?
Yeah.
And you just see new formations and everyone's puzzled. And then half times there's always these massive corrections because they've seen things that they don't have video clips on or they haven't been able to review. And it's just a mad scramble to defend against maybe something that's working well or something that's not, right?
Yeah.
So then you really see the strategy and the chess playing from between head coaches in the NFL right now, which is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely it's going to be a fun one. That's one of the games I'm looking for. I love division rivals, especially in that division. Like you said, the Browns beat both teams and they were terrible.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of those things where the Steelers might have a bit of an edge, like in the mind and mentally over the Ravens here, but should be a fun one. All right, up next. We'll get to your texts at the River Cree inbox. We'll also get to your messages on the good old Nasty Chat as we wrap up the show and set you up for the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. They got a loaded show coming up as always, so make sure to keep it locked here on EST Afternoons. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brew House. Host your team or league fundraiser at the Canadian Brew House for a chance to win $2,500 with tons of options to choose from. The Canadian Brew House can help you raise funds for your crew. Details in-store or online at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. We're back after the break. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, but here's Zach with your sports update.
Games dot the NHL schedule with Colorado playing Chicago, the Panthers battling the Hockey Club, and the Canucks against the Capitals. Elsewhere, tonight's Flames-Kings game has been postponed due to the ongoing wildfires in the Los Angeles area, with a makeup date soon to be made. And the NHL has also announced that the Panthers will host the Rangers for Winter Classic next year, while the rival, the Tampa Bay Lightning, will have the Stadium Series, welcoming in the Bruins in early 2026. Down south, the Browns have named Mike Bloomgren as their new offensive line coach. And on the court, the Raps meet the Knicks, seeing 8 games around the association. This sports update is brought to you by the Capital Care Foundation. Financial support deeply affects residents at Capital Care. Whether it's a one-time donation or a monthly contribution, every penny counts. Find out how you can donate at capitalcarefoundation.net. More with Joaquin and Hernan on the other side of the break here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your sports update.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
When I'm up, I can't get down, can't get down, can't get level.
Don't miss Canadian singer-songwriter Alan Doyle as he brings the East to the West, January 17th.
I said, hey, 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 it's just an ordinary day, and it's all your state of mind.
Get your tickets at River Cree Resort and Casino. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Make a fresh start in the new year with Sentinel Storage. With convenient locations near you, Sentinel Storage is here to help you make space for everything 2024 holds. Sentinel Storage. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Visit sentinelstorage.ca.
.241 Wednesday afternoon. Oilers off day. They're coming off an impressive 4-0 shutout of the Boston Bruins last night. We'll be back in action tomorrow against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Another early one, Gager, as we'll jump in at 4 o'clock in between the Reed Wilkins show once again with Tom Gazzola, and I'm pretty sure it's Sean Bell this time, Gager. We just won't drop it on you.
Okay, a couple minutes before.
So hit us up on the Nasty Chat. Text us, River Cree inbox as well, 780-218-9999. It's been a fun show. Big shout out to Mike DeFabo, Steelers beat writer, for joining us. He's from The Athletic. Tee up Steelers, Ravens, and we got a trade talk with him about the Oilers and Penguins as well. So I heard the morning guys talk about this, and now he's looking at National Day calendar. Today's National Bubble Bath Day.
Oh, yeah?
Yay or nay on bubble bath, Gager?
That's a nay. But at my old house in the city, I had a house in Allendale, and my 2 baths were great for kids too. When my little boy still lived with me, I guess. I had the jets in all the baths, so you put the bubble bath in there, and you hit the jets, it just becomes suds everywhere. So it's just playing in there. And I got a tall drink of water too, and so I hate getting in and I have to put my knees up. I want to stretch my stuff out in the bath. So the one I have in my house now, it's too short. So I don't even know why I have a bath anymore. It just becomes a resting place for clothes.
Yeah,
essentially I'm a shower guy.
I haven't had a bubble bath in forever, so I don't know if I am or not.
Cucumbers on the eyes, some candles, little Merlot.
Yeah, hey, why not? Trev says he has a bubble bath once a week.
Doesn't surprise me.
He's a big bubble bath guy, I guess.
Yeah.
I think Dusty said he's indifferent to it, and LT said no.
Dusty's a hot tub guy.
Yes,
Yeah.
he loves the hot tub.
I don't know if this is like looking this up. I'm trying to find it, but Puljujarvi was obviously placed on waivers back in December, but it shows him still with the Pittsburgh Penguins on their NHL roster.
Let's
Jesse Puljujarvi.
See if he
revenge
played
game
last night.
tomorrow night.
Sure. Let me see if he played last night, because the Penguins tweeted a picture of him walking into the arena.
Yeah.
So he must have played. He had a nice suit on, that nice smile he has. Here, let me take a look. I'm just pulling up the box score. They lost in a shootout. And let's see here. He did play. He played 13:37, 1 shot on net, 1 giveaway.
Huh. So
he might play tomorrow, because he missed the first one here, right? Or did he play games?
No, he played.
He played? Okay.
Yeah. But, well, he was on the ice. You could say that about all the Pittsburgh Penguins last game that was in Edmonton.
That was a terrible game.
That was a terrible game. Yeah, they're. I would expect a better performance from the Penguins in this. Probably not the. They didn't have the rookie party like they did in Banff.
Jesse Puljujarvi wasn't noticeable. Shocking. No, I'm just kidding. I like Jesse. All the best to Jesse. Just back to Hernan's World, Chauncey says he would have loved to watch Notorious B.I.G. or Tupac, so we could hang out for sure. Gregor says...
You know how much money they would make if they were both still alive and went on tour together?
Oh, my. Put the beef to rest. That'd be amazing.
Sure. That's the name of the tour.
Gregor says, past artists I'd like to see Lemmy from Motorhead. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And if you missed it, the Kings game tonight against the Flames has been postponed due to the fires there. It's just a very sad and awful story. And Connor Zary, after a very bad knee injury, no update yet. They're waiting for the swelling to go down. And like you said, Morrissey seems like it's not as serious as they expected last night.
I like that Zary. Have you watched?
He's a good player, man.
He's really good, man. He's quick, fast, great shot, not afraid. Flames got a good player in Zary.
And yesterday we were like, after the show, there's a lot of trades in junior hockey because the deadline's
I
like
know,
the 10th. And there was 9-for-1 trade,
Yeah.
which was 8 picks plus a player for 1 player. I'm like, that player must be really damn good that's going the other way.
It's funny. I don't know where the Memorial Cup is, but usually that's the team that makes the massive deal that just craters them for the next 5 because they're hosting the Memorial Cup.
But you have to go all in, right?
Well, yeah, and I remember, my old coach one year, Lorne Mulligan, he went back. He coached the Blades when I was playing junior, and then I had him as a coach in the minors, and then he went back and coached with the Blades, and they were hosting the Memorial Cup that year, and I think it was just terrible. Like, they started the year and they hadn't won a game or something.
Yeah.
So they had to do something. Or there was rumblings that they were going to move the Memorial Cup because they just couldn't have a team that poor in it.
Yeah.
And to do it, he just had to, because I believe he was coach GM at the time, and he just had to sell everything. And it's nice to see. I haven't obviously looked too far into it, but it took a while for them to come back because they had no draft picks, nothing, and they just...
That's like the cycle of junior hockey.
It is,
right?
It is.
Yeah.
It's so, but that's the fun of it. And I'm still to this day, I do believe that the hardest trophy to win in all sports is the Memorial Cup.
It's tough because you go through a grind of winning the playoffs, then you got to travel.
Yeah,
usually pretty far.
Well,
right?
it's essentially like going through the NHL playoffs and then going and playing a tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's crazy, and it's just there's only a certain amount of time you're eligible. So between the ages of, unless you're exceptional, obviously, but 16 and 20, your team has to be in the right window, and everything has to go right.
Yeah.
We lost Game 7 of the Western League Finals against Swift Current to go to the World Cup.
The factory.
Yeah.
Well, Portland's always there, man.
Yeah. But Swift Current picked up some pretty decent players. Like, they had 2 guys on their team, I think. Well, Rick Girard from local boy, I think he finished with, he had 86 goals that year, like 190 points. Grywaluk had over 200. He had 80 goals. Tyler Wright was on that team. He had
good.
50.
He was a first rounder, right?
First rounder.
Yeah.
Dean McCammond was on that team.
Diener.
Todd Holt, another really good player. And there was one more guy that finished with like over 150 points. Andy Schneider
That's a pretty good team.
Oh my God, man! It was a joke. It was an absolute joke.
That's crazy. Junior hockey. We got to get Guy on to break down all these trades. I don't know. He's keeping track, man.
Yeah,
it's a lot. Hawk says, I'm 6'2". I don't fit in most bathtubs, but once in a while, it feels amazing to slide into a hot bath.
Jeez.
I feel you, Gager. The folded knees is not fun.
Yeah, no, I don't like my kneecaps cold.
And then Penner's Pancake says, side question, didn't Hernan wear glasses before, or am I imagining that? Yes.
Yeah, Clark Kent over here, you mean?
I'm
Now
wearing
he's
my
Superman.
contacts right now. Yeah, just getting back into mixing them both in.
Yeah.
Because I wore my glasses for the first 4 months here. But
I know.
Yeah, it's definitely a different look. Doug Dad says, I can't even remember the last time I took a bath. Must have had to been junior high-ish. Do love a good soak in a hot tub, though. It's a different, though.
Yeah.
And,
Gager, where did you play CHL hockey? Please, Big Uke, stop it.
The Factory.
The Factory. Don't even ask where that is. You should know.
Where the great Ty Ratty played. Let's see if he can figure that one out. Portland. I was going to call them the Trailblazers. They're the Winterhawks.
Man, that was such a cool place with seeing all the Trailblazers. Well, we didn't see too many Trailblazers, but we saw a lot of NBA guys. And shoot, his name for the Trailblazers, he was the big center. His last name was Duckworth. Big dude.
Oh, okay.
And he had a Porsche. And I was like, I saw him leave there. I go, how's this dude fitting in that Porsche?
Oh, no doubt.
But it was custom, and he had the back seat taken out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And he fit in this Porsche.
It's
It was
like Fast and the
hilarious.
Furious.
Yeah.
It's 2:51. We're at 77 thumbs up. We're 23 short. Please slam that. Let's get to 100 in about 4 or 5 minutes before we send you off to the great Reed Wilkins and the very handsome Jay Milne, who got a haircut today. And
Yeah, he's looking fast.
Dusty would like the smell of a haircut to be put in a bottle, like a spray.
Jesus.
He thinks it's amazing.
That's ridiculous.
All right, Gager. Tomorrow, the Penguins. Trap game? No, I don't see it. The way the Oilers are playing, buddy.
Dude, like I said, I really think they're going to waltz through this road trip with 6 wins.
Yeah, you said it, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, question for you. So Hellebuck became, the third fastest.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard Haas and some Winnipeg people say that best goalie on the planet. Is he?
Yeah, right now.
I still think
best regular season goalie.
I still think Vasilevsky's a pass.
I do too.
Like right now, of the NHL goalies that are playing, you have one game. Who you taking?
Oh, Stuart Skinner. He's up there. I Vasilevsky. Remember the game he played here? It was nuts.
And they lost.
Yeah. It's unreal.
Would you have Bob up there?
He's good, man. Can't argue. But he's not as big as Vasilevsky. And it's weird because Vasilevsky moves like he's about probably 6'4", 6'5", and 6'7" on skates or whatever it is. And he moves like he's 6'2".
Yeah.
And he's efficient. He does everything proper. It's very frustrating, and I get quite envious of how easy he makes movement in the crease. Look, and Dusty and I were like the next day, or I think I was on the show in the morning, and it was goalie euphoria watching him move around the net. It's just perfect.
Yeah, Matt Hyman says he's pretty damn good. No, I'm not. Hey, Hellebuck's top 3 goalie in the league. I'm just saying I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
I still think I'd take Vasilevsky if I needed one win.
Hellebuck's great too, man. His movement's really good. The way he can combine being a blocker and make saves. He's another guy that you watch and makes everything look pretty routine, whereas they are quite difficult saves. And I kind of made the comparison. I thought, Stuart Skinner's he's still quite young. But I do think that Stuart Skinner, he's kind of more in the Hellebuck mold than he is in the Vasilevsky mold, if that makes sense to you, the way they play. So am I saying that Stuart Skinner can become Hellebuck? there's still a ways to go, but there's a definite possibility of him getting to that level. You watch how he played last night, and if you just throw a Jets jersey on him, he looks a lot like Hellebuck.
Big Uke says, one game with it all on the line, Vasi gets the bump currently, just because Helly hasn't done it in the playoffs yet. Vasi is a proven winner, but it's a slight margin.
Someone tell Huss, I said this. Huss, go slash Hellebuck's tires before the next game. Get this guy some rest.
Get him some dab. Who's their backup? Comrie? Yeah. No, they're a good team, man. Nothing against, but I still think Shesterkin's taking a step back this year after the big contract, and the New York Rangers just as a whole. I'd have Juicy Sorrows up there, but he's also on a team that's struggling mightily. I wouldn't even put Ottinger there right now. Top five.
No, he looks tired, man.
Yeah. Allmark maybe when healthy.
Yeah, healthy. I haven't looked at a while, but after his game here, Askarov looked really good. Right?
he played awesome here.
I mean, this is another thing. This is why Stuart. There's an intangible with Skinner being durable. He can play a lot of games.
Yeah.
And if you look out to the West Coast here with the Vancouver Canucks, their number one guy still. You don't know where he stands with his health.
It's troubling.
It's awful. That's got to be very frustrating.
I'll finish the show off with this one from Bronco Nick. I sat on the red line staring at Vasilevsky last time they were here. He looked like he was floating, barely moved. Awesome.
I know. If you ever get a chance to watch a Lightning game, Vasilevsky's probably in net. Just put the ISO cam on him. Like when the puck's in their zone, watch him move around. The way he locates the puck. Like he does this big kind of like Statue of Liberty stance where he has these little like micro steps just to stay with the puck, but he's constantly finding where it is. It's a masterful job, and you don't realize how much energy you have to use to be that focused on the puck in your own zone and keep view of it and still have the anticipation of where the danger is coming from on the ice.
Yeah. All right. We got to run here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the messages on the Nasty Chat at the River Cree inbox. The afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino. Canadian musician Alan Doyle and comedian Ben Bank is coming to the River Cree in January. For details on tickets, visit www.therivercreeresort.com. Big shout out to Mike DeFabo on behalf of Brendan, Zach Kubusch, our producers, Joaquin Gage. I'm Hernan Salas. Thank you for tuning in. Keep slamming that thumbs up. Go back and listen if you like, or download our podcasts wherever you get them. Spotify, Apple. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. We'll chat tomorrow. Ciao.